What's up, YouTube? Winterguard here. So you're just getting to your first maps. Do we upgrade them or not? Let's find out. So we're going to try and keep this one short and sweet. This is not about how to map or best ways to map. This is just your kind of your intro into when you first get to mapping. At this point in the game, you kind of know that you can upgrade various items in the game. So this is kind of whether you should do this to the early maps or not. And the maps work the same way as far as what you could do with them. As you start to get towards the end of the campaign, you'll start having waystones drop, and these are going to be your maps that you use to in the end game. But you'll see variations. You'll see just plain white ones. You'll see blue ones. You potentially could get a rare one drop as you finish out the campaign. But is it worth spending the orbs to upgrade them at least up to rare in the early part of the mapping system? And what we're going to do, so I ran 10 maps with just a plain white waystone, and then I upgraded them to rare for 10 more. Now obviously this is a small sample size, this is kind of anecdotal evidence, but I wanted to just kind of see how much of a difference upgrading them to rare would make with the drops. So we're going to kind of go over that. Now when you get to the mapping system, you're just going to do 10 of these anyways, so I guess sample size kind of fits how most people are going to play them. What we try to determine is whether you should waste any of the orbs at all to try and do your low-level maps as you level up your map system with using the orbs for that. And here's what it boils down to. There's very little difference early on. Again, this is at tier 1. I might test it again at, say, tier 5 and then 10 to see how much it starts to differentiate. But I wanted to just look at the basic loot that we got off of this. And as far as crafting materials, the rare or the unique item split between the white and the upgraded to rare maps were basically the same. I got 4 in the first 10 and actually less in the upgraded 10. I got 3. Obviously there's going to be a bigger difference later you get into the map system because you'll be adding points to your atlas tree, and that will obviously affect drops in the maps as you progress. So early on you're not going to have points in the atlas tree, so is it worth crafting those items? I will say no, just straight out. I'm going to show you what I got from the first 10 and then the second 10. So basically if you look at the orb count here, I actually got them kind of flipped, but this is the initial 10 tier 1 white maps. So there is a bit of difference, and it's just not worth it. So to get to the rare, you're gonna have to use regals, and I got 5 in my first run of 10, and then I got 9 in the second. So you know, a few more. But the exalts were almost the same, 3 and 4, 4 in the upgraded maps. But outside of that, it's pretty flat. It's even a little less in some circumstances, like the augments, we actually had a few less. The only difference that I had an orb of annulment drop in the upgraded maps, which I hadn't got one of these before, but it doesn't look that great. I mean, I see the use for it, but it's not something I would probably seek out. And like one more veil. So obviously the counts just aren't worth the upgrade, because and I'll say this, you will get the occasional rare map drop, so you won't have to upgrade them every time. And if you get a rare one, might as well run it. But outside of that, I wouldn't even upgrade to blue. I would just try and knock the 10 out as quick as possible and progress through your atlas tree instead of trying to kind of finesse them early on. I did get a couple of rares that maybe are worth messing with. This belt's pretty decent for a level 40. I'll probably just give that away. And I got some, these were blues that I upped because the starting stats were pretty decent. But outside of that, I don't think it's just try and progress through those early maps as quick as you can versus and try not to finesse, loot out of them. I just try and get past them as quick as possible. Try and get through your early maps, at least get to maybe 5 before you start upgrading. I'm going to test that as well. I'm going to jump up to 5 and do the same thing and see if there's a differential. And then we'll do it again at 10. And I think from 10 upwards, you probably want to do that for every map. And of course, the actual waypoints on the map system do make a difference because there's little variations depending on if you get one with a couple of extra mods on it. But again, just blast through your first 10. Don't upgrade. If you get a blue one, run it. That's fine. If you get a rare one, run it. That's fine. I wouldn't do anything beyond that. But that's it. We'll just leave it here. Hope you have some success in your mapping. Keep on farming.